Cool. So yin for better sleep today. Always good to sleep, and it's even nicer to sleep better. But we'll start with a seated position. As I said, make sure there's a wall or something behind you, also for the online people. You don't have to use it, but we will at some stage do leg up the wall, and we have done it so many times without the wall. So I thought today we could experiment with that, but that's later. So for now, just come into a seat of your choice and use this moment to kind of arrive. And when I say arrive, we are here. Obviously, we are here, but are we fully here? Probably not yet, which is okay. What I mean with that is that your mind might still be elsewhere, the place you just came from, or whatever conversations you've had today. That is also very much a power of this stillness practice, the yin practice, to digest, to let all these thoughts and all the conversations, the highlights, I call them the roses. I often, in the end of the day, when I journal, write down 2 roses and 2 thorns, the roses and the thorns of the day. So you can maybe sit with yourself now still and digest your day, see your day, the morning, the afternoon, the things you've done. So you can then let that behind. Maybe pick a rose and a thorn, your nicest moment of the day, or maybe that is still to come. Maybe it's your yin practice. So let's sit still for a minute or 2, just to arrive with all the layers of our being. Your breath is there for you. Slow down and deepen the breath. If it helps you to count the breath, count for a count of 4 to 6 to breathe in, to fully fill up. And around 6 to 8 counts. So your exhale can even be slower than your inhale to fully exhale. Soften the skin on your face, the tongue inside your mouth. Was your day like you thought it was going to be? The things that you wanted to do, did you do them? Or were there surprises? Spontaneous things? What was the rose? What was the thorn? And it's almost by rescanning the day and then determining your rose and your thorn, you can leave it behind. Like a story, like a chapter of the book of today that we can close. And then we can tap into this moment, into this breath for an hour, just focusing on ourselves, which is not egoistic. It's not selfish. It's self-care. And from that place, we can step back into the world, recharged, reset, grounded. Maybe you feel into the subtle energies of your body and you're like, oh, there's some anxiety, or it's difficult for me to breathe slowly. I'd like to shift that. That could be your intention, to be calmer, to be more grounded, to be less distracted, to be here. Take 3 more rounds of breath. After your 3rd breath, you may choose to place your hands in front of the heart, a gesture of opening the practice, a moment to set your intention, a moment of gratitude, or simply dedicate your practice to someone else in need. It's almost like sending a postcard, but not by mail, but just with your heart and your mind, bringing them into your practice. knowing that they are seen, that they are loved. It's a beautiful gesture to actually dedicate your practice and energy to someone else. And then we bow our heads towards our fingertips to seal that in. And we start in Baddha Konasana. If you have a pillow, you may use a pillow. If you have a bolster, you may use a bolster. If you don't have none of both, that is also fine. You can be flat on the floor. Remember, you can use towels rolled up, and then you bring the soles of the feet to touch. Now, if you're quite stiff in the hips, you might want to put pillows on both sides of the knees as well. Then I like to actually push it a little down, place it under my sacrum, and then let the chest rest, palms facing up. So take a moment to find symmetry. Last little movements and adjustments before you commit to being still. Now, one of the nice things physically about this shape is that it counters a lot of the movements we do day to day, which is quite rounded forwards. When we drive, when we are on our phones, when we behind the computers, we tend for our shoulders to round forward. So here, invite the openness into the chest, the broadening of the collarbones. And you can enhance that by really focusing on the breath, letting the chest rise and fall. More than welcome to breathe, actually almost invited and suggested to breathe into the nose and out of the mouth, nice and slow. A sigh is also welcome now and again. The sigh is quite fast, but it's a nice kind of release of pressure. And then you go back to your normal 4 to 6 counts to breathe in. 6 to 8 counts to breathe out. And every time you notice your mind wander, come back to the breath, come back to the movements of the body that happen because you are breathing. The rib cage, the lungs. Soften the skin on your face. Let the jaw be soft. The jaw is also a joint that holds on to quite a lot of tension. At night, we might grinch your teeth. Or when we're stressed, we hold on, we draw, we pull our jaws together. So let it all just hang. Invite your body to soften. Invite your skin to soften, invite your muscles to soften, invite your fascia, your connective tissue to soften, the organs, every cell. On the exhale, surrender. Slow breath in, slow breath out. And another way to draw into this moment is to focus on your sensations. So you can go and check what you hear, maybe music, maybe your breath. What you smell. what you taste, what you see, and even if the eyes are closed, you might have images, colors, passing, even if your eyes are closed. How in general does this make you feel? The combination of sounds, taste, smell, sight, and your breath, and the invitation to calm down, to slow down, to be. Around 4 to 6 more rounds of breath, depending on the length and the pace of your breath. A little sigh is always welcome. Let's take one more deep breath in together. And a nice sigh. Bring your hands towards the back of your skull and lift your own head with a little bit of strength of the arms. Bring your chin towards your chest. And then roll onto the sides. And from the side, you can come up into a seated position. With your right leg to the side. I'm already feeling better. 5 minutes of stillness and you already feel more grounded. So if you feel that you are quite rounded and you're like, I don't know, I can't go anywhere, I'm stuck. Really, the props are there to make it more breathable. Yes, there might be an edge, but we call it a breathable edge. So if you're here, the body is not relaxing and there won't be any change. The body will just resist. So in that case, I mean, I've got a straight back, but I'm not a better person because I've got a straight back. I mean, that would be a bit silly. Just sit on something. It's not because I'm not sitting on something that you can't. You can feel into your body. Your right leg comes out to the side. The left foot is on the inside, either of the thigh or somewhere a little lower. Feel both sit bones rounded. So I would scoop your hips a little if you can, even use the hands to remove the flesh of the sit bones. So you have a little tilt in the pelvis. And then you can either use a block if you have a block or a little pillow to place your head on. Maybe you need to stack your blocks or your pillows. If you have a bolster, that might also work. You can just bring it on the inside of the leg. And then you fold forward. That's it. You can even put a block on your bolster if you feel that that works for you. Lucy, I would use your bolster and then put your block on top of it. And put your bolster next to your right leg. So it's, yes. So you're a little bit towards your right leg. Yes. Now we all flex our right foot actively. So draw the toes up. Yeah, and then relax them. Good. If it's better for you to turn the face to a side, that's fine. Now relax your shoulders. Notice if there's tension in the shoulders. And let them fall away, let them melt. An area where we hold on to quite some tension. I mean, it's also our head is heavy. So every exhale, tell your neck muscles, your shoulder muscles to soften and your central nervous system to calm down. We are capable to cope with stress and we are triggered even when you're driving. I noticed it today and there's like a car coming from the side and you think it's going to stop and then you're not sure and then it's like a split second and you can just feel this zit, like your central nervous system gets triggered and then it luckily did stop. But that activates you and there's little impulses like that the whole day long. So to counter that, we soften, we relax, we breathe. sometimes compare it to, I'm not sure what kind of laptop you have, but my Apple, when it goes into overload, into like confusing mode, it has that little, the colors, that little circle of colors turning like, oh my word, I'm upset, I'm confused. Don't let your central nervous system get to that point. And there's ways for you to not get there. Breathe, yin, journal, meditation. It's difficult for me sometimes to explain why yoga is so beneficial, because people see the shapes. That's why they think I do yoga, to be able to do cool shapes. But it's way more than that. It's such a place of self-care, of getting to know myself, of knowing that I can, stay grounded and centered, both in the vinyasa and the sculpt and the yin practice. Let's stay still for another 2 minutes. Just soften the fingers, soften the wrists, soften the elbows, soften the shoulders, soften the skin on your face, your neck. Breathe. A sigh. It's always welcome. Helps you to soften and let go, to surrender. Slowly lift your head, crawl out of the pose. Gently, we move slow. Yum. Now we will move to the wall. So if you don't have a wall, you can use a pillar. Just here in the community center, be aware that there's little hooks that you don't hook your own skin. So with this minimal movement, just move your mat against the wall. We can also move this. You can even go here if you wanted to. Move this table a little bit. Jeremy has a, doors are fine as well. You're gonna be okay there. You wanna move this a bit? Let's move it that way. Perfect. Yes. And then we'll do a real leg up the wall. So we do, as I said, we do leg up the wall very often. You may place something under your bum if you want to. You don't have to. Now the way to get in is to just shimmy yourself quite close to the wall or to the pillar, and then to bring the legs up. Now if you feel, I'm just moving this to this side, that you don't have to have the sit bones. I mean, obviously if you're a little bit stiffer in the back line, it will not be possible to have the sit bones. You might even be kind of here, and that's okay. But if you have the space, you can even, I like to lift myself up a little and then lift the hips and then bring yourself closer to the wall. So let's go. I'll wait for you to get into position and then start our timer. So just for you to experience a real leg up the wall, you may use your Yeah, press the legs into the wall to bring your body closer and closer and closer. Yeah, it's a bit of a shimmy shimmy. Are you good there, Margarita? Awesome. Lucy looks good. Jeremy's getting in position. You don't have to go all the way. I think that's enough for you, Jeremy. How does it feel, Jeremy? You don't have to go closer, huh? And then once you're down, Jeremy, bring your chin a little in towards your chest. Yeah, and then put your head down. Or put something under, yeah. Yes. All right, timer can go on. This is magical. You might feel some tinkling in your toes at some stage. If it gets too much, bend the knees. Otherwise, just wiggle the toes a bit and just be still again. Now, if you want and you feel comfortable with it, you can place your hands somewhere on the body. Personally, I like to put my right hand on my tummy and my left hand on my heart to connect, to touch. Touch is also a sensation. And because your hands are on your body, you can feel the breath, not only by the movement of the rib cage, but you can feel how your chest and your belly rises. And maybe notice what moves most. Is it your chest that moves most or your belly that moves most? Are you a belly breather or are you a chest breather? I had to practice belly breath. It was difficult for me to let my belly pop out. Probably also, you know, the aesthetical reasons of everyone wanting a flat belly. It was like, no, we're supposed to pull the navel in. Now I have to let everything out. It's good. Diaphragmatical breathing. Down regulating. Breathe. Maybe weten the lips of your mouth with your tongue and then let them pull open. Relaxing your face. So especially if you run a lot and sit behind a desk a lot, and as I've mentioned before, if you have been in a plane or even in a car for a long, long time, the plane even more than a car, this is a very good idea. You actually don't need much for it, just a wall. Stay with your breath. Notice the breath travel through the nose, through the throat, into the lungs, how it has an impact on your hands. If they are on your body, let the toes relax, ankles relax, knees relax. Stay with your breath. When the mind wanders, come back to the breath. Take another deep breath in. And a nice sigh out of the mouth. Bend your knees. Let the feet touch the wall. The knees are bent, or the pillar, or wherever you're lying. You can catch your knees with your hands, or just let them hang out there. Notice the interesting sensations, maybe some tinkling in the feet, the soles of the feet. For me, that's just a sign that something has happened. Something was shifted. The blood flow was tickled. If you're on a prop, be gentle when you move up. I would roll to a side. So just bring the knees together and roll over to a side. And then you can gently come back. And again, just move as if you're like moving through honey, with as little muscular engagement as possible. And we'll do our Janu Shirshasana on the other side. So as soon as you hear, remember, if you need a prop, you can even stay where you are. If you're happy where you are, you can stay. Good. Remember that you can sit on something. Use the prop that suits you. Find both sit bones into the floor. Your hips are grounded and you turn towards your left foot. You can put a block or a prop. I can feel that I am stiffer on this side. So maybe I'm just going to give myself a little bit of slack in the beginning. Maybe I'll stay the full pose, the full period here. Nice. Yeah, nice, Dave. That's it. What can you relax on the next exhale? Awesome, Emma. Maybe see if you want to bring your elbows a little bit in towards your body, underneath your shoulders, so the shoulders can relax. Start with relaxing your fingertips. Tell every little joint in your hands to relax. They don't have to move, they don't have to point, they don't have to write, they don't have to type. They can just be still. Every cell in the body. Deep, slow breaths in and out. Where is your breath? Can you feel the breath in the front of the body, the side of the body, the back of the body? Can you follow it while it travels, while it changes from in to exhale? Like waves coming in and out of the beach. And if a certain thought or feeling arises and repeats itself, that's also okay. Maybe it's something that you are trying to digest. Let it be there. There's no judgment. I love the comparison of the central nervous system as a funnel. And if the funnel gets blocked and you pour more water at the top, it's going to overflood. So all these practices is for the funnel to just keep flowing. Put an emotion in the funnel, put a extreme thought, put all these things, and it just runs through like a river. And thanks to these practices, everything that happens in our day-to-day life, we're able to manage without it blocking, without it lingering, because those blockages, they create tension. We hold on to that. So letting go, acknowledging, observing, and then going, okay, you're allowed to be there. It's all right. But I can also let go. If it serves you to let go, let go. If it serves you to invite something different into your mind or heart or habits, it also helps. We've got 3 more rounds of breath here. In slow motion, use your hands to walk your body up and away from your leg, your bolster, or your prop. Maybe feel how that impacts your waist. Whew. Half pigeon with an option of 90-90. We'll start with our right leg in front. The right knee comes forward, the right knee points over towards the right side of the mat. The left leg can reach behind. And then just check in with your frontal hip bones. So if there would be little lights shining out of your frontal hip bones, they would both be shining forward, rather than if you would sit on the right bum, they would be shining in different directions. If you have knee issues, are your knees okay, Dave? Cool. Your knee is fine as well, right? Yeah, okay. Well, at home, if you have knee issues, you can do a 90-90 instead. You probably need to scoop. But otherwise, we can all be in our half pigeon, maybe a bolster, a prop for you to relax on. I like that, Lucy. Yeah. I'm going to copy you there. It looks good. Just remember, you've turned your face towards the right. On the other side, you turn it towards the other side. Are you okay, Jeremy? Good. Nice. How can you make your shoulders soften? And this will probably, often hip stretches, will give us that edge. Today is quite a gentle practice, not too strong edges, I think, for most of us. But hips, they fire up quickly. They do so much for us the whole day long. Every step you take, every time you balance, every time you walk up the stairs, it's your hips that are moving, that are balancing. And any unevenness, maybe even in length of leg, the one leg is just a tiny little bit longer than the other, that will be compensated by your pelvis. It's like a center that will kind of, compensate for that. And it might travel up a little bit, your spine and your chest, obviously, but the hips take on a lot of that uneven load, if there is any. So stretch, open up, breathe. Come back to your intention or your dedication. Remember our check-in in the beginning of class and what you felt you needed, or maybe there's someone that needs some extra love and attention and just being seen. You might even call them after class and go, you know what? I spent an hour with you, even though we were not together, but I was with you in my thoughts, in my heart. We are all connected. Our energies are connected. We're over halfway. Ooh, I'm feeling the hips today. You can always back off, eh? You can always make it a little easier, draw the foot closer or use extra props, even a prop under the right bum. And if you meet an edge, use the breath, make it breathable. Make it breathable by adapting slightly or just really focusing on the breath, deepening and slowing down the breath. Around 3 more rounds of breath here. Lift your chest. And probably the nicest is to just roll. Now you can roll onto that right bum. When you're up, my hips today are like, I feel like a granny. And then bring the back foot in, soles of the feet to touch. Remember, you can put something under your buttocks. Really just do so if it feels better. Why wouldn't you? And then depending on where you're at, you can bring your head here. You can put something higher in between the feet. You can put your bolster and then something on top or something else on top. And just let your body rest. Okay. So Jeremy, rather than being in a cross-legged with your legs, bring the soles of the feet to touch. Yes, a little bit more forward even, then you give yourself some space. Look how flexible you are like that, Dave. Quite crazy. The hips are interesting. They can be very flexible in one direction and totally not flexible in another. Depending obviously on the bones in the pelvis. And our patterns in how we move. The job we have, the exercise we do, it all has an impact. Can you ask your shoulders? Can you check in with your shoulders if they're relaxed? Are they? Yes or no? Otherwise, can you place them in a way that they can relax more? Maybe around the ankles, on the inside, closer to your props. With every exhale, let your upper body just melts over your lower body and let your upper body be heavy. And you'll notice that it's probably relatively easy to also breathe, to connect here with the back of your upper body. So breathe into the shoulder blade area, the lower back area, the kidney area, as well as the side ribs in the front. Pay attention to where the breath travels. Slow it down. Notice if the edge has presented itself, whether that's physically. I noticed that when the edge is there, I start to fiddle with my fingers. I start to like nail to nail kind of thingies, or like kind of itching my toes or wiggling. That's okay. It's just a subtle reaction to the edge. Try to stay still and use your breath rather. We've got a couple more rounds of breath, 6 to 8 rounds of breath here. Means that something is shifting, changing. More space with every inhale. More relaxation with every exhale. And then slowly, as if you are again, just moving through honey. Oh. Ay, ay, ay. Maybe put your feet flat, lean a little backwards, wiggle your hips and your knees. Whew. Don't know about you girls and guys, but guess I need it. All right, we've got our half pigeon on the other side. You ready? Just set yourself up. Place your left knee to the front. Slide the right knee back. Check with your frontal hip bones if you haven't totally fallen over towards the left side. Yeah, nice. I actually saw you did that leg already. I saw when we did the other round that you had done. No, that's fine. So it's, yeah, just bend the knee, yeah? Bend the knee. Front knee, the front knee is bent. Dave, just bring your left knee to bend. Yes, and the other leg to straighten. Yes, and yes, now your frontal hip pointed to the front. Exactly. Nice. Oh la la. There we go. Breathe. Notice what you feel where. If you could like take a marker and go like that's where it's intense. Is it your knee? Is it your hip? Is it your hip socket on the left side or the front of the right hip? Maybe it's in your lower back. We go to an edge where it's quite intense because of the time that we spent here. But we do avoid sharp pain, like as if there's a knife like being jammed inside your body. That's not what we're looking for. More like a, I don't know, the word annoying pops up in my head, like an annoying kind of, that's okay. It's resistance of the body wanting to hold on, and us by staying and breathing, allowing our central nervous system and bodies and beings to go, it's okay, you can let go, you can let go. Invite space on the inhale. And calmness, relaxation on the exhale. Surrender. Stay with the breath. Let it be there for you. Let it make the shape breathable, the edge breathable. You can change your props and you can calm down and deepen your breath. Take another deep breath in here. And a nice sigh out. Do that one more time. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. On the inhale, slowly press yourself up and away from the floor. Oof. Start to bring your feet forwards. Just a little moment to feel that both legs are equally in length and sensations. And then the next shape will be our Shavasana. If you are still close to a wall and you're like, I actually want to do that again, you can. Otherwise, if you have a prop, you want a bolster is nice under the knees. You don't have to. You can also cover your eyes, which is quite nice to create some darkness. And just relax. You can leave the blocks, Dave. Yeah, just leave them there. I would take them out. Yeah, just relax on your back. You're liking that one, Lucy? It is a nice one. Good. Let your feet fall to the side. Let your body relax. Just spritzing some nice scent. Don't get fried. It might be a little bit of a mist on your face when it comes down. It's just to give you some extra relaxation. Before we move, just notice, take a moment to come back here. Notice how you feel. how comfortable you are with being still in this shape. That is a practice on its own. Start to notice some sounds around you. Maybe the sound of your own breath. Some subtle smells or tastes in your mouth, some colors, some visions. And then start to deepen your breath. Keep your eyes closed. Again, also just like a symbol of I'm still with myself. In a space of self-care, of feeling and being with myself. Start to notice your toes and your fingers, your extremities of the body, in the smallest bones in your body as well. Start to wiggle them. If you have the legs up the wall, if you chose to do that, maybe bend the knees. Oh, like a nice yawn. Means you're ready to start in continuing a calm evening, which will lead to better sleep or nice sleep, because our central nervous system has already found a calmer mode towards rest and recovery. And then hug your knees one by one in towards your chest and pause a moment there. Nice. Maybe wiggle your little body, your bowl. You're like a little ball of you. Wiggle it from right to left. And then you can roll onto a side. And from the side, when you're ready, you come back up into a seated position. No rush whatsoever. Feel the sit bones. Maybe lean a little backwards so you ground even more through the sit bones. And then take a couple of nice conscious breaths before we step off our mat into the rest of this beautiful day and evening. Know that your breath is always there for you. Always. When we are triggered in the car, when we are behind our computer, when we feel like getting angry, it's there. Use it. It's one of the biggest gifts we've got. Let's close the practice in the way we started. If you feel comfortable with that, bringing the hands in front of the heart, a gesture of union, a gesture of greeting and acknowledging the connection that exists amongst us and nature and this beautiful planet and animals and plants that we share our lives with. Thank you for being here and for choosing to spend your time on your mat. Namaste. Take your time. There is no rush. Just gonna say goodbye here.